Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the August 5th through 9th, 2024 General Hospital recap. So I waited until Friday night to finally start watching, and you said that you didn't watch until Saturday.
Yes, I had done Monday, Tuesday on time. Like Monday, Tuesday, I watched as soon as they came on. And then I didn't watch the rest until last night.
I am so happy. I guess maybe I just wasn't on social media all week because I did not get any spoilers.
Oh, good.
Yes. Although did I tell you that I accidentally saw that one?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't tell you. I knew that it was coming. I knew that it was coming eventually because there was an article that was talking about, because, I mean, we'll get to it, but, everyone had the speculation after Frank said people are going to go crazy for him, so everyone's having their speculation. And I had read something months and months prior about Brian Craig saying, like, I'm not going to come back, like Morgan's not going to come back, stuff like that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, did he address this again? Oh. And I clicked on it and it said, confirmed, Brian Craig returning for one episode. And I'm like, what?
No.
And I knew it was going to be in August though, but I didn't know when.
Yeah.
But I definitely assumed that it was going to have something to do with Sonny's mental health. I am so happy with how everything happened. So we'll get to that. Port Charles pipeline. First things first. I don't know if it's really a Port Charles pipeline, but just a general statement. So the podcast platform that we used did ask us if we would like to opt out of any political ads being released during our commercials. I did opt out of it. I opted out so many different times. I filled out that form to be extra sure at least a half dozen times. So should you happen to hear something in the political realm, we don't talk about politics. We don't get involved in that. That's not what this show is about. We talk about maybe human interest and social conversations, but especially ones that we are personally experienced with. But, we don't get into politics. We don't get into that. Should you hear anything, it is not something that we're promoting. And actually, if you hear something, could you please maybe shoot us an email at peer54podcast@gmail.com and let me know. I have not heard anything yet. When I've been listening, I'm assuming that all the commercials are the same across the board, but I don't know if some may be regional.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know how they pick it. So just know from us, we're not supporting anything political with our podcast. I'm not even sure if I'm supporting Drew. So, and we did have a couple emails. One from Natasha. The subject is Carly and Jason's friendship. Are we making fun of how much Jason goes to jail? Good day. In answer to your question, Carly and Jason are friends because they both accept who each other with no question. When Jason had his accident, most people wanted him to act like Jason Q. Carly didn't. Well, Carly didn't know Jason Quartermain. Right? Carly came after Jason had the accident, so she's only known Jason Morgan. She didn't know Jason Quartermain.
Right.
So she wouldn't have known him to. If you look at Jason's past relationships, all the women have thoughts on how he should act, not Carly. Sam, they've just recently done this with Sam.
Yes, exactly.
Because I would agree, but at the same time, okay, Liz has always accepted him, but she has also just said, but I can't be a part of this.
Right.
I don't feel like Liz has ever tried to make him choose.
Mm-mm.
She accepts him who he is. She just also gets that that's not the life that she's going to be a part of. And so she has to stay where she is. They can still be friends. They can still be co-parenting, but that's it. I mean, I don't know. If you suddenly were in an accident and became the exact opposite of who you are, I would miss you. Right. I might still love who you become, but you know, if my son got in a car accident and suddenly became a mobster instead of the artist that he is, I think I'd probably be bummed out.
Right.
I would still love my son no matter what. Right.
And you just naturally would have those expectations of, here, draw me a pretty picture.
Right. Exactly. It's a no judgment relationship.
I don't know. That's no judgment. I feel like it's all accepting, but I don't feel that it's no judgment. I can accept that. I mean, I can tell you that, again, you could do some pretty awful things and I would still be your friend and accept that, but I'm not going to agree with it.
I don't think that's judgmental, though. I think that's just a healthy relationship, though, too.
Like, we joke about killing people and burying them. If you actually did that, I would judge you. That's not a right thing. Do not actually kill someone.
Okay, you are. Okay, there we go. Yes.
But
okay.
I'd still help you bury that body.
Well, I don't want you to, but I'm also not going to do it. So, but yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. He would risk his life for her and she would do the same. That's what I was saying, though. I don't know that she would. If it did not benefit her, I don't know if she would. He is 100% devoted and loyal, and I think she says she will.
Right. He literally
when
would
it comes down to it
for her.
Right.
But she did not.
Nope. Harley only married Sonny because Jason told her to.
The first time, yeah.
The first time, but then she and Sonny became Harley and Sonny. I don't know. I'm standing by. I don't think that they're necessarily the healthiest relationship.
Yeah.
The more that it was specifically last week when Jason was like, seriously, when are you going to just do like I ask? And I feel like it was almost like one of those moments where you see in a movie where there's that something is said, and then suddenly you see all the flashbacks of all the times that accumulate to that point of that person saying or doing that thing. And you're like, oh, you're right. She has never listened to you, and she has always needed you to bail her out when you were already just trying to get things done the right way-ish.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where that came from, specifically last week.
Yeah.
And then our girl Holly, Portia. Why does she become more obnoxious and annoying every episode? What a waste of Brooke her. I agree. I don't know her from anything else, but I definitely feel like this actress could do so much better than this character. I feel like the character could be so much better than she is. Yeah, I understand when she came to town and had her thoughts about Ava. Absolutely. If I was not an active parent and found out that my daughter was hanging out with a woman my age that had mob ties.
Right, from a known mob family. Yes, I'd have issues.
I might have my own concerns as well, especially when you find out that your daughter is seeing her as more of a maternal figure than she's seeing you. But she goes on to say, but also, where are the writers going with this? I don't know. I don't know if they know.
Right.
She acts like Trina is 6 years old, and that motivates her every action. Yeah. And Trina's a good girl.
And I feel like it flip-flops from week to week. There's some weeks that we don't see her and Trina together at all. And Curtis is like, hey, I talked to baby girl today. I saw her at such and such, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, Portia has no idea what he's talking about. Like, and then the next week, she's like standing up for her of, oh my gosh, I have to protect my daughter, blah, blah, blah. And not to get into this week too much, but even Trina said this week, like, what are you doing? I am a grown woman. Step back. I got this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. But then when I shared the show on Instagram from last Monday, we titled it Another John Couldn't Name a Matthew ? And our boy commented, Matthew
I love
Jane. He actually first said, "You gals are the best." So thank you. But then he responded saying, "One of the reasons that I am grateful for the character named John is because it feels like a head nod to my deeply missed friend and coworker, Johnny Wachter.
It's so sad.
I miss him, and this feels like a continuation of our connection on the show by carrying his name." And I was like, okay.
Right.
Yes.
We'll allow it. That makes
Yes.
sense.
That absolutely makes sense. And if that is, I like it. So,
yeah.
But also, part of me is wondering if he got a name finally, because July was his 10-year anniversary.
Oh my gosh. 10 years without a name.
We need to talk to him.
Him and James can be like, I never had a name for 10 years. I never had a birthday.
Right? James is accidentally going to get married on his birthday. Okay. I think that's it. Did you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. This upcoming Port Charles 411 is going to be Bobby Part 8.
Is it 8 or 9? Oh, yeah, it's 8. It's 8. You're
okay. Right. I just had to look it up. Don't worry. I'm not that good. It's 8. Part 8 of Bobby. Continuing her and Carly.
Yep.
And their interesting start. So, all right. This week's Hulu headlines. On Monday, Dante voices his suspicions. Ava is in the hot seat. Molly has harsh words for Sonny. Dex consoles Jocelyn. Natalia offers an ear to Blaze. On Tuesday, a loved one visits Sonny in his time of need. Anna makes an arrest. Kristina's family prays for a miracle. Jason pays a visit to Carly. And Kevin and Laura have cause to celebrate. They were so cute this week.
They were very cute.
I feel like that's going to be my husband and I, except for we're not going to have that elite of positions, but they were cute. Okay, Wednesday, Jocelyn confides in Carly. Jason rushes to the hospital. Ava has new cause for concern. Portia is hopeful.
Oh, God.
When was that? And Trina reiterates her loyalty. On Thursday, Trina confronts Heather. Alexis shoots Scott down. Anna has a warning for John. Felicia offers her support. And Jason gives Ava a scare. And then on Friday, Heather confides in Elizabeth. Laura and Portia hash things out. Michael seeks Willow's help. Nina comes up with a plan. A request leaves Sonny reeling.
Oh.
So I feel like this is one that we're kind of going to have to actually go day by day and not storyline by storyline.
Right.
So I did break up my notes day by day and not. So sometimes I try to like piece them all together. So that way I did day by day and even kind of jumped back and forth between how they jumped back and forth. So I didn't even keep it all together because I mean, there was so much going on. We just started with Jocelyn and Dex. Like this one I kept together. We started with Jocelyn and Dex. She told him about the accident and he comforts her.
Yep.
And they just talk about, I did like this. I liked how much they talked about how they've each grown and
yes,
how that's the reason why they were able to get back together because they both realized what they needed to do for themselves. And it also benefited their relationship. It wasn't, I'm changing for her, and they reconnected.
Yes.
But then at the hospital, Natalia made Allison leave and she obviously really did not want to.
Right. I don't know how I felt about that. Like,
I don't either.
I agreed. Like, yes, the family, but maybe not sit there right there with the family, but like hang out at the chapel, the cafeteria, the something. Like, I want to be kept in this loop, but I want to respect your privacy. Going to get lunch somewhere just didn't feel like right. Like, I'm glad they had their heart to heart or whatever, but it felt weird for them to be like at a restaurant. And you could see that Blaze was very distracted and like, why this isn't what I want to be doing right now. And I get being a mom.
It should have been in the cafeteria of the hospital.
Yeah. Like, I still want to stay super close. I don't know. I mean, I know 6 months isn't a long time, but 6 months, if you're in the type of relationship that her and Kristina seemed like they were spending a lot of time together. It wasn't like, oh, we have a date once a month for 6 months or something like that. They were together a lot. She obviously has feelings for Kristina and the baby. It felt kind of unfair to pull her away.
But at the same time, I actually thought about this. We've never really seen Blaze. She hasn't been forming a relationship with the Davis family. You know, it's not like she and Molly or she and Sam or even she and Alexis have really spent any time getting to know one another. Kristina has spent more time getting to know Natalia than anything.
There was that episode that Molly and Blaze connected at Kristina's.
Yeah, but it's not like we see them
not actively like trying.
Right.
Yeah.
The same way that Brooklyn and Blaze know each other, you know, it's
right.
Or even Maxie, you know, but I mean, to be fair, we also don't see Kristina hanging out with her family like that either. So that's probably more why. It's not like Blaze is refusing to go. It's
exactly.
just
I feel like any family functions Blaze has been at, it's just they were hanging. Kristina was stopping by and seeing her mom more often to talk about the pregnancy stuff. And no, Blaze wasn't there for that because it was like just popping in to talk to my mom for 20 minutes.
Right. Exactly. So I did like that Natalia was like, tell me about your relationship with Kristina.
Yes, I absolutely loved their conversation. Yes. But I guess I would have liked at the end to have seen them show back up at the hospital with like a bag of food. Like, I know you guys aren't hungry, but here I brought a couple salads. You need to keep your strength up. Eat something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead
or like a bag of bagels or something, you know, hey, we went to Kelly's and got a bag of bagels and here's a box of coffee. We know how horrible what'd you say right in front of Sonny? How bad the coffee at the hospital is. Because remember, they don't serve Corinthos. They don't serve Corinthos coffee. So
That's right. So yeah, just, I don't know. It felt like they left it very open-ended. And especially as the week went on and you still didn't see Blaze there. It was like, what?
Right. Like she didn't get an update at all. Because I don't think actually we saw them. We didn't see her at all after this.
Nope.
Right? I don't think so.
Right. Her big amount of time this week was talking to her mom.
Yeah, but it does seem like they're working towards healing, and Allison Blaze was able to say things that she hadn't been able to, you know, I mean, she specifically asked her, like, why did you feel like you couldn't tell me this? And she's like, you're seriously telling me I could have?
Right.
You know, and she's like, not with the way that the family has reacted to things, and obviously the way that you've reacted to things. And Natalia said, like, it's hard to shake the way that you were raised.
Yes. I did like how honest their conversation was, because Blaze at one point even said, like, well, do you still feel that way? Do you still think that? And Natalia was like, yes and no. Like, I know that those thoughts are wrong now, but I can't help the fact that they still pop in my head every once in a while, kind of.
Right. Oh, what did she say? She said something about how it's the same thing as being told your entire life you're right-handed and then you're being told to use your left hand.
Right.
I mean, I didn't really understand that analogy because I don't think it's as black and white as that, but I like that she was at least trying to explain that she wasn't trying to excuse it.
Right.
You know, she was, like you said, she was saying, I'm working on it, but there's still some things I need to work on. But she was saying, I'm working on it. Oh, because she at first thought it was just a reaction to what Link did to her.
Right.
And it was just a phase and it wasn't ever actually anything because Allison never felt like she could tell her before that happened. Because unfortunately, even if Alice and Blaze were out publicly or even privately, what happened with Link probably still would have happened. He still would have done that.
Yes.
You know, he's the kind of guy that probably thinks he can change someone's mind, you know, and that's not how that works. So, but Natalia didn't know before that.
Right.
I still don't. Yeah. But Jordan did call her and told her about the baby. So that's why, like, we didn't see Allison go see Kristina.
It was odd that she didn't go see Kristina or even go check on Molly.
Yeah.
And be like, I know that Kristina, you know, can't do much for you right now because she has to recover herself. But is there anything I do? I sat there and listened to you talk about how much you wanted this baby. And I saw you and Kristina excitement over it. Like,
Right.
do you need anything?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, anything.
So before we get to all of that, I think we could go to the jail or the PCPD, where Dante was interrogating Ava and Trina was in the lobby waiting to have her statement taken. And Ava didn't see her right away, right?
Right.
But then, Ava's basically reiterating to Dante how everything happened so quickly. And Anna comes in and is like, yeah, so Dante, you can't be the one questioning her right now.
Right. I did feel like that was the first thing that Ava said, was like, this is completely inappropriate. And I was like, yeah, it is. I'm not sure how this is happening.
Yep. So then Anna said, well, good news. Chase is right here. He's perfectly calm and he's going to be able to take your statement. So continue the interview, I guess. I think we talked about this last week as to why Ava didn't see who was even at the pool. Ava has done many things, and we will hear more about that as the week goes on. I truly do think that she is absolutely beyond shocked right now. I do think she's absolutely still trying to manipulate people, especially further in the week. But I really do think in her head, at least, nope, I will take that back, because she switched out the luggage for the shoes. Nope, she knew what she was doing. Back that up and erase. I was just thinking maybe she really believed herself. No, she didn't.
No.
She knew.
No, she didn't believe herself, but she didn't push her. I mean, that is the fact. We saw it. Kristina pulled away and tripped over the luggage. I don't understand why she didn't tell the truth from the very beginning. It would be less to hear, first of all, the original statement would have been, there was a piece of luggage on the floor and she tripped over it. I obviously didn't put the piece of luggage there knowing she was going to trip and fall out a window. So there wasn't intent there. Their next question would be, oh, are you going somewhere? And then she could have said, no, I'm left it here. John asked to leave it here because Carly kicked him out. If they ask more questions, it still is a better explanation to be like, yeah, I'm trying to get friendly with this hot guy, than, oh, yeah, I put a pair of shoes there and now I'm lying and it looks like I pushed her out a window.
Yeah.
You got to pick which is the lesser of two evils there. Go with the truth and suffer the consequences of the fact that you are hooking up with John, not change the whole thing around.
But that's the problem with chronic liars. They don't even know that the truth will actually set them free. It's their first instinct is, how can I lie to manipulate this to my benefit? Where in this instance, she wasn't realizing that the truth is always to your benefit. How about we just don't do bad things that make the truth not a good thing?
Right. And how do you just assume that Kristina is going to come out of this and not remember? Because Kristina, it seems like she's not quite sure because of her desire to look at the pictures later on in the week. But if she would have woken up from it and remembered 100%, no, I tripped over some luggage, not some shoes, then again, you automatically incriminated yourself to make it seem like you did something wrong, all because you swapped out what she tripped over?
Right.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
I could understand trashing the room. I could have understood trashing the room and not putting anything by the window and being like, she lunged at me, I moved, and she fell through the window. Mm-hmm. But changing out what she tripped over, it just seemed stupid.
Well, right, because I've tripped over shoes. You stumble for a second and then you catch yourself.
Right.
I mean, watch the opening of the Dick Van Dyke Show. He trips a lot more when over that ottoman. That's an actual tumble.
Right.
Oh, I love Dick Van Dyke. Sorry. He's just going to he's going to live to be the oldest person in the world ever.
All right.
But you know what I mean? The bigger the item, the harder the fall, right?
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, that just makes sense. Because if you trip in a hole, if there's a little dip, you don't fall. But if there's a gopher hole, you fall.
Exactly. One makes you twist your ankle. One makes you fall flat on your face.
Right. Exactly. So, and then Trina tells Anna that, she was just trying to piece together what just happened. She didn't know it was Kristina, but she looked up and saw Ava at the window and the curtains were open.
Yeah.
And Ava did cover that. She did say, I shut the windows or I shut the blinds. Why did she say she said that she shut the curtains?
Well, they were questioning if the curtains would have been shut already, Kristina would have grabbed at them to keep herself from falling.
Yeah, but Ava admitted to closing them. And I feel like she freely shared that.
No, in the beginning, she said that they were already shut. And then they said, well, wouldn't Kristina have tried to grab them to stop her fall? And then she got flustered and was like, I don't know. I opened them, then I shut them, then I opened them. And
that might have been what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she did admit to shutting them, but it wasn't until they said a witness saw them open and then you shut them. And if they would have been shut, there should have been like grab marks on them from Kristina trying to save herself.
Yeah. But then Ava was able to talk to Trina, which when Trina asked Anna, can I go talk to Ava? And Anna just goes, yeah, sure. Like,
you're right.
I mean, I know that Anna is aware of the relationship that Trina and Ava have, but, and yes, we will talk about this later. We kind of already started with Trina's not a baby, but Trina does have a blind spot when it comes to Ava. And Anna could have at least given a little warning. Listen, I know that you're friends with Ava. Things aren't looking good right now.
Right.
You need to be aware, just watch yourself. And Trina told Ava that she saw her in the window. She straight up asked her, did you do it on purpose?
Right.
And then Ava starts telling her no. And Trina believes her.
Mm-hmm.
She saw it and she believes her.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. Is she is she in a willful denial of it right now?
I feel like she's conflicted the way that we all would be, because Ava has shown Trina her good side. And so to think that she pushed someone out the window is like just unfathomable. But at the same time, she saw Kristina fall out the window and is like, oh, that happened.
Okay. I feel like for you or I, yes, it is unfathomable to think that either one of us would have done what Ava did. Trina even said last week, I know that she's done these things. I know that people say these things. So she's already been aware that Ava's capable.
But just because she did those kinds of things in the past doesn't mean that you think that she's capable of them now. You think that she has been reformed.
That's true.
But again, I feel like if Ava would have just been telling the straight truth, then it would have made sense. And Trina could have been like, oh, okay, I see. It was a horrible accident. I'm so sorry that you're going through this.
Right.
Her stumbling over, oh, Kristina was manic. She was yelling. She was whatever, blah, blah, blah. Trina may not know Kristina super, super well, but she's seen the interactions even between Joss and Kristina. Kristina never got physically violent and went off the handle, especially since she was pregnant. So it does not make sense that when she was confronting Ava that she would be throwing stuff and screaming and getting physically violent.
Well, and that's kind of what Dante was telling her last week. He's like, yeah, that doesn't add up. That's not Kristina. And the thing is that she is 8.5 months pregnant. So yes, pregnancy wrecks your hormones. There's a psychosis that is tied to the menstrual cycle that takes forever to have actually diagnosed. There was a point where we started noticing things were cyclical with my daughter. And so we were wondering, is it above, I hate the word normal, but you know where I'm going. We all feel funky during that time. I don't know anyone. I'm very, very fortunate. I never had cramps and I didn't have any of those things. But yeah, your mood shifts.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know anyone who doesn't have the slightest bit of mood shift. But obviously, like anything else, some are more extreme than others. And same thing with pregnancy. I'm sure that, let's go to Google. Hold on, pregnancy psychosis.
I'm sure that it is worse for some people, but I feel like the bottom line is, again, the majority of mothers your overall instinct is to protect. So you wouldn't go throwing things at people and being confrontational in their face and whatever at 8.5 months pregnant, because you would realize if they throw something back at me or they hit back at me, that I might end up getting hurt. I said for most mothers before you question me.
But at the same time, Kristina already knows what Ava has done and made the choice to go there. This was not Kristina's fault. This was not Kristina's fault. I am in absolutely no way saying that. But basically, she's already aware that that could have happened. That it could have gone badly because Ava messed with Morgan. You know, it's not like she's only ever.
But Ava has messed with people from far away, from not up close and personal means. You know what I mean?
Sonny.
Yeah, but that was different. I'm with Kristina that I would have gone and confronted Ava and not thought I was going to get shot or tossed out a window either, but not get shot.
Yeah, because I mean, it's something that Ava has said. She has gone through this. So I do believe that Ava would not have willingly, knowingly.
Like if I was Kristina and I went to confront her and then was like, excuse me, I have to use the restroom, and then came back out and Ava was like, here, I poured you a drink. I wouldn't drink that drink. I would not drink
it. Yep. Right. Okay.
Because in my brain, I would be like, yeah, you were unattended. What did you put in my drink? But I could see Ava poisoning someone or changing someone's pills. I could not see Ava throwing things at a pregnant woman or punching a pregnant woman or whatever.
Well, it's kind of like the mob mentality thing. We've talked about this with Sonny, is he wants the fair fight. He's not going to disable you from being an equal and worthy opponent. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not trying to say this was Kristina's fault at all, because
no. But I just mean, like, yes, you, without blaming Kristina, you can say, well, she still might have wanted to think about the possibilities because of Ava. But if I was Kristina, I would have gone and had that same confrontation and thought, like, yes, if she offers me a drink, even if she goes to like open up a cupboard, I'm going to turn around and walk away because I'm scared she's going to pull out a gun or something. But I would never think that Ava would put her own hands on me or throw something at a pregnant person or whatever.
Yeah.
So in no way would I have thought this is jeopardizing my baby.
I agree.
So, but yeah, again, so if Ava would have just told the truth to Trina and everyone else, then it would make sense. It's the fact that she's lying that she's screwing herself up.
And then at the hospital, Molly shows up and TJ tells her about the accident. Alexis fills her in on the fact that, they're trying to save the baby and they're trying their best to save Kristina. And who was it? Alexis said that she didn't know why Kristina was even visiting Ava. And Molly says she does and looks right at Sonny.
Yep.
And then I hate how they did this. Okay, I hate it altogether.
Yeah.
But to have the reveal be as the doctors are talking over her, first of all, there is so much science behind. They may not be awake, but they can hear you.
Right.
That you should not be having that conversation saying, how are we going to tell her that we couldn't save the baby? Because just at that time, Kristina starts waking up and is mumbling, baby, baby. And they see that she's awake. And also, instead of, I don't know, maybe going and getting her mom to be there, as they share the horrible, horrible news, they just do it. And yes, I understand she is a grown woman. She is an adult. But if that were me, I would want somebody in the room with me to be there to comfort me.
Right.
I would want to be that person in the room with someone getting the bad news so that I could be there for them.
And I feel like that's normal doctor talk whenever you wake up, is they say, do you want us to get someone, before they go into any explanation of, because most likely if you're in the hospital, whether you just fell from a building or you fell down the street, you're a little groggy, you're a little out of it, you're a little whatever. And so you want a second person there to hear what they're saying so that you don't misunderstand and be like, oh, they said my leg's broken and I'm never going to walk again, as opposed to they said, no, your leg's broken, you're not going to walk for the next 8 weeks or whatever.
Right. Right.
So yeah, they absolutely should have said, "Do you want me to get someone? Your mom's right outside," or whatever, before they
Right.
told her anything.
So then Kristina starts freaking out, but the first thing she thinks about is Molly, and she asks if someone can get her there. And so Dr. Parks goes out, and I am very thankful for this, that he did not say anything other than Christina's awake and she's asking for Molly. And Molly's like, okay, bye guys. Like I'm going to go.
Yes.
And Kristina just tearfully told her, she didn't even have to say anything. She just said, I'm sorry, Malls. And they just cried together.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Parks during that is when Dr. Parks told the family that they were not able to save the baby.
Yeah. I was happy. So then as Alexis visits with Kristina, all the bells and whistles start going off. And so they have to take her back into surgery. And at that point is whenever they said they may have to do a hysterectomy. I was going to be beyond angry if they ended up.
So sick when I heard that.
Yeah. So I will thank the writers for making the choice to not have to have her have a hysterectomy, because I would have been so angry.
I don't see where she's going to be able to have children, though. I do think that they are going to have it be she's unable to.
I really hope not. I feel like this is our fault for talking a couple months ago about how we thought that the other surrogate didn't actually miscarry and she was going to come back with the baby.
That's right. Oh no, that's going to happen.
I don't know. I feel like they heard us and they were like, okay, that's what we were going to do, but we can't do that. So instead, let's do this. And made it this horrible storyline instead. Instead of being two babies, now there's no baby.
Oh, we did find out that the baby is a girl.
Yes. Which is even more heartbreaking because of the whole Davis girl.
Yeah. And then Dante gets to the hospital, and that's when Alexis tells him about everything. And she's saying about how she has to call Sam, and Dante offers. And she's like, no, I have to be the one to tell her because she lost the baby the same way that Sam did.
Right.
And then Dante goes over and talks to Sonny, and Sonny says that Ava had something to do with this, that she and Jagger have been working towards taking Avery away from him. And if they take Kristina away too, they will pay. And then Molly comes out and sees Alexis. And,
yeah,
she obviously knows that everyone was filled in while she was with Kristina. And then Sonny starts walking towards the door. And Molly, I like this Molly. I've liked her as a recast. I thought that she kind of fit more into it from the get-go.
She seems a little older, yeah.
But it's just her whole persona even just fits better with she fits. There's no other really way to, but that when she ran in front of the door and was like, you are not going to get to hurt my sister anymore. Or no, you're not going to be able to hurt my sister. What did she say?
She said it was his fault for the fact that Kristina lost the baby.
She told him why Kristina was at Ava's.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because Ava had subpoenaed, because at that point, Dante didn't tell Sonny that.
No.
But Molly told him that Kristina was there because Ava had her served. But Scotty better watch his back, because Ava's not the one who had Kristina served. Scott did that on his own.
Right.
He then told Ava, because even Ava at the beginning, when she first found out, she was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh yeah, Dex, that's right. And then Molly tells him that her daughter is dead because of him. And so he walked away.
Yep. That was when he went up to the roof.
Oh, and then I did like Jordan asking Dante if Ava's been arrested. And he's like, I can't tell you anything, even though you're deputy mayor.
Right.
You're also family. And she's like, well, you're family. He's like, yeah. And they took me off of this.
Exactly. So, exactly. I got told now.
And then TJ and Molly sit and talk. And she's like, I'm so sorry, I was in court. He's like, that's your job. Like, he wouldn't have been able to leave if he was in the middle of surgery.
Right.
But she got there the second that she could.
He brought up the baby name then. When they were sitting there talking. He said we need to come up with a name for our daughter.
Yeah. But then we go up and see Sonny's on the roof. He takes off his jacket and is just looking over the ledge. He's still on the rooftop. He's thinking back to that argument that he had with Dante about how when Dante said that I'm kind of getting close to where I can't even have a conversation with you because you're making it too difficult to blur or to not blur Son and Call.
Right.
And then his apologizing to Kristina after beating up Dex, and then Joss yelling at him, calling him a liar and a criminal. And then Anna reminding him that she's the police commissioner and she can't be turning a blind eye to him. And then Molly once again yelling that her daughter is dead because of him. And that's how we ended Monday. So this has already been a really long episode.
Yep.
Then Tuesday opened up with Kevin in his office, and Laura walked in with a cupcake and a candle.
Yes.
It's Kevin's birthday, and they're just talking about how like they basically both work. And she's like, I don't want you to work on your birthday. And he's like, you do. You know, you have to work on yours. I work on mine. We're all adults. We work on our birthdays. But he had a last minute patient eval that was coming in. She gave him his gift, which is 2 tickets to a Broadway show. And I had so much fun nerding out on this one. Did you just say yuck?
No, I said, mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you said yuck. And I'm like, wait. We're going to back this up. Okay. This show might be over now. So she got him tickets to Allison's room at the Schott Opera House. The tickets are the exact same ticket, like the exact same. On the body of the ticket, you know, like the one that you keep.
Yeah.
They both say row D, seat 15. Nope, sorry. They say row D, seat 14 on the part that you keep, but then the tear off stub that they take, both of them say row D, seat 15. So even the single ticket doesn't have the same number on it.
They're going to be very upset when they get there to see that show.
They're going to be sitting on each other's laps. But then it's not a real show and it's not a real theater, but there was a show called Allison's House from like the 1930s. And 7901 West 48th is not even close to a real street. They would definitely be in the middle of the Hudson.
Aw.
Actually, I don't even think they'd be in the middle of the Hudson. They would be, because it's only by the hundreds. So they'd be way, 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 way into New Jersey. Should 48th Street run across the Hudson and into New Jersey, but it doesn't.
Right.
So that was my big nerd moment.
I'm glad you had fun nerding out.
Yeah, and then I got 42nd Street stuck in my head, so I had to listen to 42nd Street.
Oh, geez.
And then we got in the car and I had it on. And I was like, oh, the rest of the house doesn't really care so much about this one. But then we see Scott showed up to the PCPD to talk to Ava, and Anna told him about Kristina's fall, right? Anna tells him about Kristina's fall.
Yeah, I think it was Anna, because Ava had been calling him since before she even left her hotel room, and he didn't show up until then. And so whenever he walked in, she was like, where were you? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But then he even asked her, did you actually do this? And she's like, I would never touch a pregnant woman. But then Anna called the hospital for an update, and Kristina made it and the baby hasn't. She tells Chase, and then they just continue to talk about, because his notes matched up with Dante's, and then they were going to be transcribing the recording. And then they find out from the CSI people that the luggage belonged to John, and that's not been mentioned at all.
Right.
And that's when Ava talked about he had been kicked out of the hotel, and so it was just staying there. And they're like, well, didn't you think that might be important to tell us? Especially when we told you that your room was being, like, you are staying here because your room is possibly a crime scene.
Right. They needed
get that out.
They need to find like a string of hair or something of Kristina's on John's luggage to prove the fact that Ava moved it.
Is it in the photos?
It shouldn't be.
It might be. The windows were open and it was behind the chair, so it would have been on the floor right in front of the window.
I feel like it would have been right in front of the window where you couldn't see because of the wall still.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe they'll see just a little handle and they'll be like, what was that? And then they'll be...
That could be.
Yeah. Spinelli will like look at it and be like, wait a second, that's a luggage handle.
Model number, blah, 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 blah. He'll know it instantly because he'll nerd out like you do.
Exactly. But they just keep talking about, the custody case and how that's why Kristina went there, because she was being subpoenaed. And then I don't want to be like dismissive of it, but I mean, Christina's in the OR again. They're trying to save her. They're trying to avoid a hysterectomy, all that.
Right.
But then we go back to Sonny, and he's now standing on the ledge of the hospital, and Morgan's ghost is beside him.
That was awesome.
I did. I loved it. I feel like that's one of the best ghost reappearances that we have.
I will agree.
Okay, but now Morgan is dead. There is, I know we had our thought about, maybe he's pikeman, maybe he survived and he's mad at, no, it's.
Yep, he's gone.
Yeah. I kind of want Morgan to visit Kristina.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, can we please have Morgan holding the baby and telling Kristina that he'll take care of her?
Yes, that would be beautiful.
Okay.
There you go. That's perfect.
That would be so good.
That
and
would
Mike,
be.
and Mike, and Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe Courtney. But that's Kristina didn't really know Courtney.
Yeah, no
I feel like Morgan and
Mike. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, sorry. I just have it in my head now.
Stop crying. Move on.
Well, do you want to share the whole Morgan thing? Because I don't know if I can actually get through it.
I'm going to summarize it, then you're not going to like it. So Sonny's standing on the ledge, thinking about all the bad things that he's done and contemplating jumping. And Morgan appears and is like, "What are you doing? You need to be here. Everyone in our family needs you to be around." And Sonny says, "No, I've done all these bad things, blah, blah, blah. If it wasn't for me, you would be dead. You wouldn't be dead." And Morgan says, "No, that's not true," and goes through all of the reasons that Sonny needs to stay.
But then Sonny rebuts all of them and says, "Yeah, but I shot." Okay, I am sorry, though. Morgan's response is, "I shot Dante in the chest before you even knew he was your son." No, dude, that really doesn't matter. You still shot him. You still shot him. But
I like knowing that Morgan would defend it till the end like that, but you didn't know. It's okay.
Right, exactly. And then he says, Michael was in a coma for a year because of me.
But you weren't the one that actually shot him, so that wasn't your fault.
Right. And then, he wasn't the one who shot him, but also Sonny was the target.
Right.
But it was like someone going after him. It's not like it was retaliation against Sonny, right? I forget. Either way.
Yeah.
I mean, Avery's cursed with Ava as a mother. Okay, well, that just happened. Donna's mother almost went to prison, and Kristina lost the baby because he couldn't stop it. And Morgan was like, nobody could.
Right.
So, okay, I have one more person that can be there.
Oh, geez. What?
Baby Lila.
Oh, that would be cute.
Okay. Because that would be both of their sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, Sonny just keeps going on and on about how... Did you think he was going to do it?
I didn't, just because in my brain, I'm like, we can't have Sonny not here. But he was like really close, it seemed like, closer than he's ever been. So they played that out really well.
I didn't think he would die if he did.
From the rooftop of the hospital?
Listen, things have happened. But I actually did think that there was a really good chance that he might have. Or that Jason was going to get up there just in the nick of time. But after that was 2 days? It was Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Where he kept talking with, because he talked about how there's something just different about the father-son or father-daughter. When he scared Kristina and she saw me beating up Dex and saw how much I liked it,
Yeah.
He's like, I scared her. And Morgan said, and she came right back, and that's, he kept repeating. He's like, we might step away, but we always come back because we know how much you love us. And Sonny's like, not enough. Again, you would not be dead if it weren't for me. And Sonny even said, like, Morgan of all of them should understand how he's feeling.
Right.
And then we don't see Morgan anymore.
Right. And Sonny's walking into Kevin's office.
Yeah. That's not the late night consult that he had, though.
No.
Because it was a phone call. So who was the late night phone call? Or are we just to assume that he was just having another random consult?
I thought that it was going to be something to do with Heather, but then it never connected that way. So
that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Then I was like, did I miss something? Did I miss where they did say who it was?
Right. Yeah, I went back for a second and was like, wait a second, did I miss part of, I think that was Tuesday's episode, and then it was Wednesday.
Okay, there were a couple spots, though, that I thought, how did we just get here?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they definitely deleted some scenes that were transitional, because there was, when Kevin came to see Alexis.
Yes.
Suddenly he was just on, I mean, I know it seems small, but it's not like we saw Kevin coming around the corner and seeing Alexis sitting on the couch and coming over. It was just,
right.
He was there.
Yep.
And it's like, wait when did that happen?
Yeah.
Right? Jason goes to Carly's to bring the mail from Bobby's. Carly's freaking out because Sonny didn't come home or didn't come over to pick up Donna. He's not answering his phone. She doesn't know what to tell Donna. Then they talk again about how they disappointed each other and about the evidence disappearing and how they just can't believe it. And it's like, okay, guys, let's just move on from this now.
Right. She says again, I asked Spinelli and he said it wasn't him. Nope.
But nobody called either one of them.
Nope.
Overnight. And then Dante calls Jason and Jason talks about Kristina and Carly's like, why didn't anyone from the hotel call me? And when she calls, they say they've been too busy getting her to the hospital. No, that's what the paramedics did.
Right.
You 100% call Kristina or Carly and or Olivia. And the other would definitely have called the other.
Yep. It did not make
no way that she would not have known.
Right. And Jocelyn didn't call. Jocelyn went over to Dex's house and needed comforting. On the way over to Dex's, she didn't call her mom and be like, oh my God, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to Dex's, but I just had the worst experience at work. I had to save somebody. And then when I flipped them over, it was Kristina.
Right. Well, and then when Jocelyn finally did talk to Carly about it, Carly said, well, I know you didn't call me, but I'm glad that you at least had Trina there. And she was like, yeah, so about that. But then Jason goes to the hospital and talks to Dante about everything. And they discuss Ava, right? They discuss that Ava's been arrested.
Right.
Jason called Brick after he talked to Dante.
Mm-hmm.
And Brick's getting measured for a suit.
Right.
And Brick's like, yeah, so you're not in the circle of trust anymore. I can't show you the pictures. And Jason's like, so here's the deal. I've been protecting Sonny and the family, same as I always have. And Sonny has just not been listening. And he's like, good enough for me. Here you go. Here's some pics.
Yes, exactly.
But then Jason takes them right to Anna.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna uses them. She goes and gives Ava one last chance. And then she's like, oh, funny, because here we go. Here's some photos of you putting your hands on her.
Right.
Can they use that?
I don't think so. That's what I was waiting for Scott or Jagger to say. It doesn't matter what you have if they were taken illegally. Like we've talked about before, recordings and pictures out in public, you can't object to people using those because if you're out and about, you do not have a right to privacy or an expectation of privacy. But if I'm in my hotel room, yes, I have a right to privacy and expectation of privacy. So you can't take pictures through the window.
No. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting with that one. But then they arrested her for manslaughter and told Ava that the baby didn't make it.
Right.
Oh, I remember. It was when Dante and Jason were talking. They were like, Dante said that his phone was going straight to voicemail. And Jason said, yeah, I checked the chapel and he was, or one of them said that they checked the chapel and he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. So why the roof wouldn't be your next thought?
Especially Jason. I feel like Jason would know that Sonny would probably be up there at least getting something because that's where Jason goes.
Right.
Just getting some air. But no, Sonny went and saw Kevin and asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. And then the next day we saw Kevin went to the penthouse, the apartment, and checked on him and told Sonny that, Sonny's like, okay, so obviously I just needed to readjust my pills. And Kevin's like, yeah, so here's the deal. Kevin tells him, we got the blood work back. I put a rush on it because you said that you've been taking your medication.
Yep. And there's nothing.
And there's nothing, like not even a trace in your system. And I was kind of confused by why Sonny didn't immediately go grab his bottle.
Right. And be like, look, you can
prove it to him.
Yes.
Exactly. And count it out saying, listen, this is my 30-day supply. Today's the 15th. Count it out. I take them at the same time. Like I take them religiously. And then he realizes the bottle's missing because then we find out that Avery took Daddy's vitamins, which he has, where this all came from.
Right.
I don't know. It's
right. I feel like at Avery's age, if you take a medication, like I take high blood pressure medicine, my kids knew from the time that they were little, you don't take any medicine without asking, but this is mommy's medicine for something wrong with mommy. So you don't touch it, you don't take it, you don't whatever. And if the doctor gives you medicine, then mom will help you take it. And no matter what, you're just taking one at a time. You're not taking the whole bottle or whatever. I understand if it would have been, like children's Tylenol or something like that has like a yummy flavor or whatever. But the lithium pills that ended up being placebos at that age, like Avery would know this is a prescription bottle, not a over-the-counter med.
Right. There was no cartoon character on it. There was no Flintstones vitamins still a thing.
Not, but I don't
now everything for kids is gummy, so it's not gummy. So, and you're exactly right, especially when his bipolar disorder is a life-threatening condition.
And those meds are life-threatening. Like they said, if she would have actually taken what she took of the placebos as a real pill, there would have been seizures and coma and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So you would say you wouldn't keep that medicine, like when Ava or Carly, whoever it was, went to look at it, it was like in the bottom drawer, no child latch in his cabinet in his bathroom. You would not have them there. You would at least have them up in the cabinet out of the child's reach. And again, your child would know this is a prescription label. You don't touch these meds, period.
Or even, I mean, mine's in my nightstand because I take it first thing in the morning. So it's right there. And that's, I just feel like that was kind of odd that, so Avery took them for her sleepover with Donna, and Avery was hiding them from Pilar because she didn't want to share. And so then Donna took some and she took a whole bunch. And I'm sorry, the first thing, she's so glad to see Joss. And then she goes, do you want some of Daddy's vitamins? Not like, it would have been, Jocelyn should have said, hey, do you want to go get some ice cream? And then Donna could say, I'm not feeling real well. I just took a bunch of vitamins. And then they say, what? Like, what vitamins are you talking about? And Carly would be like, girl, you don't take vitamins. What are you talking about?
Or for her to have been like, come see my new dolly setup. And whenever they go to look at the dolls, behind one of them is the empty pill bottle or the pill bottle, whatever.
Yes, exactly. So they find out because they rushed on it. I did like how Carly reacted, though, that because you got to stay calm. You cannot. It's like, oh, okay. So we're just going to go to see the doctor now, honey. Let's go. You got a tummy ache. We're just going to go to the hospital. Okay. And then she tells Liz, so you're going to have to pump her.
Right. Exactly.
And then
get this done now.
Yeah. Carly did tell Sonny, right? That
Jocelyn called Sonny to tell him that Donna had taken the meds. And then he got there and Carly came out and was like, hey, listen, so they pumped her stomach and she's feeling better, sore throat, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing that we need to be concerned with is they said that actually they didn't need to pump her stomach because these pills had nothing in them. What is going on? Yeah.
And then, her throat's going to hurt. And so Carly and Sonny are in her room offering her popsicles. And then Carly says, well, I'm going to take you home, but Daddy will come see you later because he has to go visit Kristina. And Donna's like, can you bring her 2 popsicles, one for her and one for the baby?
Yes, that was so sad and depressing. I didn't like how they handled her taking the meds, though. Like, she even said, am I in trouble? And they were like, oh, just don't take other people's meds. It wasn't like, I hope they revisit that conversation with her at least to be like, hey, we didn't want to yell at you or make you more scared or whatever. But yeah, like really bad stuff could have happened. Do not take other people's meds.
Like they should just be saying, so we're just going to talk about that later when we get home,
Right. Right. Or like sit her and Avery both down and be like, listen, don't be taking other people's stuff. Like,
Right.
that needs to be a conversation they address with those girls.
Oh, do you think that it's going to come down to where Avery says that she overheard Ava telling someone that there was nothing in his pills, and so she thought that they were safe?
I don't think they're going to get that involved.
Okay. And then I kind of feel like that's almost that. Oh, but they did figure out that they were trying to talk about how long it's been since he's been doing this. And I think Carly walked it back to about New Year's Eve when they started to see that things were going haywire. I did like, Sonny and Jason talked.
Yes.
And Sonny realizes that he and Carly saw it the whole time and he wasn't listening. And I like that Sonny didn't have to apologize. I mean, he did, but that's what is, I don't know. I feel like that's real. That's
right.
Sometimes, especially in mental health, it's Jason knew he was not there. So he's thankful that he's getting the help that he needs and that he is aware of how bad it could have been.
Right.
And he told him about Morgan. And then Jason said, well, what did Kevin say? He's like, yeah, I'm not telling him that. Like,
exactly. He'll think I'm crazy.
He's like, I will tell you. And that is it. But then Sonny goes to see Kristina and Kristina asks Sonny to take care of Ava.
Yeah.
And Alexis walks in on,
I did like Alexis pulling him aside and being like, that may be what Kristina wants right now, but when she's in her right mind, it will hurt her that she asked for you to take Ava out. Like, please don't do that right now.
Well, but he was kind of telling Kristina that too. He was telling her, right now you're thinking this, but it's, you need to wait until you're in a better place. And she's like, Dad, there is not going to be a better place. She killed my daughter.
Right.
And but then Sonny tells Alexis, this is Ava's my responsibility or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she went back to exactly like you said, but Kristina's not going to see it that way. She's going to see that you did what she asked her to do. You asked her to do. She asked you to do. Sorry.
Right.
I don't think he will.
I don't think you will because I feel like Ava herself is going to be so messed up. We saw Molly and TJ. That was the worst part. I cried. That was all like just a little too much. We saw TJ wanting to set up a funeral and Molly saying she had to go to work. But then Molly went to see Ava with the autopsy report. And even Ava was like, please don't do this. Like, I do not want to hear this. And Molly's like, no, I want you to hear every single detail. And so she went over the height and weight of the baby and exactly what the cause of death was and all of that. And Ava's like, but that's not what happened. Kristina is who killed your baby, blah, blah, blah. And Molly is going to freak out even more. Like, don't blame my sister.
Uh-huh.
Like, she's been through enough. She did not do this. And so I feel like, especially with Molly being the DA, I think this is the time where she's going to pull her strings and be like, hey, I need whoever gets this case to make sure that she goes away for a very long time.
She's ADA. She's
ADA.
not the DA.
Sorry, ADA.
But I do think that Robert might make sure that the best person is on it. I know that it was heartbreaking and I know that it was probably very difficult for a lot of people to listen to, but I thought it was amazing that Molly did that.
I loved it from the, theatrics side of it and just the fact that Ava couldn't go anywhere and had to listen to it. But then whatever they showed TJ at home breaking down and how his family was trying to be there for him and the fact that Molly wasn't there. And then right after that flipped to Kristina having the dream of holding the baby and then waking up and the baby wasn't there. It just, we've talked about it before with my pregnancy losses and some of them being further along. I was like, oh man, this is too much for me. I am not liking the storyline. So I'm sure there's many people who felt that way, but that was rough. They did a really good job with it. Cause again, if you're feeling those feelings, then they're doing it right. But it was a lot.
Well, I mean, she's compartmentalizing right now. She's I can't deal with this, and I did like that TJ didn't push her when he asked her, are you sure you don't want to be here for the packing of the room? And she's
Right.
like, and then
Yeah.
Curtis reminded him, people grieve differently, and they're worried about Molly, and they're worried about the fact that they're not, of course they're upset because she's his partner, but this happened to both of them, and they each have to, and obviously they both have different methods of handling grief. And I don't know. I don't know if I would have to have somebody else do it, or if
I just felt like they were really rushing it. And TJ's family kind of said that too. Like, are you sure that you want all this packed up right now? And are you sure that you want to get rid of all of it? You don't want anything to remember. And it's obviously too soon to talk about trying again. But whenever they were like, oh, we're just going to donate all of this, I was like, that's a lot of stuff that you guys are getting rid of that you're just going to have to go buy again, that maybe we should like put it in storage or keep it at mom's house or something. Like, I feel like it would have been different on a personal level. It would be different if they had brought the baby home and then the baby passed away from like SIDS or something, like the stuff that the baby had already used. Absolutely. I wouldn't want that to be reused for another child, like you're trying to replace the first one. But like packages of diapers and stuff like that, like that's not specific. You know what I mean?
No, but like the clothing and stuff like that, I wouldn't keep that because I bought it for that baby. I would maybe have somebody keep something so that way what I hope is maybe Stella and Jordan will maybe go through and like take a couple things and be like, they might ask for something or might regret something. But no, like if I bought bedding for a certain baby, and I don't think I could reuse it. I don't think I could not have used it for one and then use it for.
I don't know about I don't think I'd reuse the bedding, but
even clothes or anything. I mean, diapers, yeah, like diapers and wipes, yeah, that's.
I don't know about clothes, but then I also thought it was funny, like they showed all the boxes being packed up with the clothes and stuff, but they didn't show like taking the crib down. And I'm like, that's what the trigger would be. Like, we need to not have that in the room.
Yeah.
More than an outfit. An empty crib is way worse than an outfit.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they'll get to it. I just felt like, they were really rushing that. And Molly might have been okay if they just shut the door and gave her a little bit more time to accept the situation and just get rid of everything right then.
Right. Yeah.
Because I feel like now she's going to regret not being part of that process later.
I mean, I guess we'll see. We're just going to see.
Yeah.
But
no, they did a very good job with it.
But I don't want this to be what breaks them up, because unfortunately that's realistic.
I would like for this to be where we are right, and for them to bring in the fact that the surrogate did not miscarry, and then see TJ and Molly kind of moving on with this new baby, and Kristina having very strong feelings of like, you just replaced the baby, you didn't care, blah, 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 and her really struggling with that. I'm not saying I don't want
that. I don't want that. Oh, Kristina telling Alexis that she's the only one that ever knew her.
Yeah.
And that she does get to say that's her baby. And I'm like, yeah, you do. But, back to when she was telling Molly and she's like, I lost our girl.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not doing this anymore with the Kristina's thinking it's her baby. No, Kristina thought it was their baby.
Yes, exactly.
She knew full well she was not going to be the mom, but she was the mother.
Right. And she was going to get to be the aunt. Like, that is an important role to play with how close the Davis girls are. I know in some families it's not as whatever, but we've always heard the Davis girls, blah, blah, blah. So it was definitely supposed to be that they were super close. But yeah, I think
it was interesting when Sam and Dante were finally talking about it, and neither one of them said, how's our sister doing?
Right.
But, Sam is devastated for Kristina and heartbroken for Molly, and she just doesn't know how they're going to heal from it.
Yeah.
I do like how everyone is like, we do not have to figure this out right now, but we know that we'll get through it.
Yes.
And I'm a planner, but that's not something that, no. There's certain things where you just have to wait and see what happens. All right. I don't even know where to go from there because we have a few other things.
Okay.
I guess, we could wrap up this whole thing with Anna called Agent Cates and told him all about Ava and the baby and Kristina and everything. And then he tries to hide. She told him because he was trying to hide his relationship with Ava. And then he goes to Ava and is like, did you do it?
Yep. Why did you move my luggage? Why is this all suspicion?
Yeah. And then, what else? Oh, she told him to go. Mr. High and Mighty is going to go intimidate the pharmacist.
Right.
To leave.
Tell him he has to leave.
I'm pretty sure that's witness tampering.
Right.
I think an FBI agent would know that, right?
I would think so, especially Jagger, who's supposed to be like on top of it all.
And so we saw him. We didn't see them talk, though. We just saw him go into the...
Right. He flashed his badge. We didn't get to hear, is he going to tell the guy to run away, or is he going to ask the guy who originally tampered with the meds? Because Ava told him, I did not tamper with them. I just didn't let anyone know that I knew they were tampered with.
So then he's going to find out that it's Valentine. He's going to tell Anna that it's Valentine. And that's why Sonny wasn't taking his medication. And that's why Ava was so terrified of Sonny because of his behavior. And so that's why she felt the need to have the custody hearing against Sonny. And so therefore it is Anna's fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Ew. And Scott. Okay, so Scott went to see Heather. So Heather was going for a follow-up from her surgery and everything. And Scott goes in to see her. And she's like, you're not my attorney. And he's like, just listen. And then he talks about the fact that, yes, she did what she did. And he's like, there's a big difference between your LSD. Like you accidentally poisoned yourself with LSD versus a corporation possibly knowingly contaminated you, poisoned you with their product. He's like, there's a big difference. He's like, you're not horror story or slasher movie.
Yeah.
Something. And she's like, well, that's true. So then, he's saying about how, she could possibly get out of there. She could spend time with Ace and all that stuff. So then he gets that in her head. And then Scott knew about the baby when he went to talk to Alexis about if she wants to be second chair to suing this corporation because of Heather. You just asked the grandmother of the baby who your client is being accused of killing.
Yep. And even if you were normally oblivious, Alexis looked like crap, rightfully so, but she looked like crap. You could tell she had not slept. She had not eaten. Her hair was a mess. She had bags under her eyes. She looked frazzled and upset, as you would in this situation. I don't care who you are. You would notice that and be like, hey, listen, I have something to talk to you about, but now is not the time.
Right.
Or something like that. And he even said, oh, geez, I know it's been a rough time. I'm so sorry. You and your family have my condolences. But by the way, you want to jump on this case with me and try to make millions of dollars? I feel like old Scott was that distasteful, but Scott that we've had for the past 15, 20 years is not that distasteful.
Scott that has lost every single one of his children to death.
Right.
Would absolutely. I agree. It would be different if it was just about anything else. If Kristina was in there with a broken leg, if she had just had the baby, but.
And he remembers that he has children that have passed away because that was one of the lines to Heather was, we have a connection because of Franco. Yeah. And Heather laughed and was like, don't use that connection. That is not something. Give me a break.
Yeah. But then when Liz is checking on her and she's kind of being all down and she's kind of hinting around to Liz without saying so much.
Mm-hmm.
Liz is so good because she's like, I have to do my job right now, but I also told you I would basically be caring for you. And she's like, oh, I can sneak you some vanilla pudding or something, if you want. And then Heather's like, I own up to what I did, but is it really all my fault?
Right.
And then you see Liz like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
And then Heather's like, shouldn't there an executive be in jail right next to me because they're just as guilty as I am of these murders? And Liz is like, I'm going to take this tray and I'll talk to you later. And then she's like, can I see your phone? Can I see the phone? And Liz is like, no. And she's like, can I see your phone? And Liz is like, can't get involved in that. And then she says, well, can you just call Scotty and tell him that Heather said I'm in?
Yep. And Laura had gone to visit her. Well, and so Liz went out and Laura wound up seeing her. And she's like, oh, I thought you might be here to see Heather. And she said, oh, I didn't even know she was here. And Liz's like, I don't know if she wants if it'd be the best company right now. And Laura's like, I got this. And she went and showed her a bunch of pictures of Ace.
Yes.
And
it's so big.
And then, Heather's kind of seeing, and Kevin said this to Laura at the end of the week, where Heather is, because she didn't say anything to Laura about Scotty suggesting they sue, right?
No.
So Laura has no idea that that's even a possibility.
Right, because Laura had just had the run-in with, or Heather had the run-in with Portia, and then Trina was like, hey, calm down. I know you're my mom, but I'm an adult. And then Trina had visited with Heather and was like, I'll listen to what you have to say. And then whenever Heather started talking about Esme, she was like, don't ask me to forgive someone that's not even here to be sorry. I said I'd hear you out. That's the end of the conversation. And then Laura came and was like, I don't want you to be concerned. I'm not going to keep pressing the issue to have you released. You said to drop it, blah, blah, blah. And you see Heather have that look in her eye, like, maybe I'm not so sure I want to drop it now that I've talked to Scotty.
Right. And then Kevin tells her she's getting the glimpse of the life she can't have because she keeps coming to the hospital, and she's, seeing, oh, I did like that Laura told her that Esme was a very good mom.
Right.
Ew, but then Portia says sees Laura and is like, Trina told me that you've agreed to drop the reopening of Heather's case. Thank you so much. And Laura's like, I did not do it because of you.
Exactly.
Heather asked me to stop. So I stopped because of Heather.
Right.
So, yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens there. I think it's going to be interesting if Heather winds up getting out of Pentonville because of the poisoning thing. So
I still feel like it's going to be Trina that's the one that actually rallies around her, because that's what she said was, I hope that whatever justice is what is served, and that's what happens. And so I can see it coming up and Trina testifying and being like, if you guys really think she paid her debt and that she's all clean now that she got the new hip replacement, who am I to say she can't try again and be out on the streets?
Right. And then I think we can just wrap up real quick with Michael took Nina to lunch and is like, thank you so much for helping Willow. And, she's like, oh, you didn't even question any of my budget stuff.
Right.
And he's like, well, Crimson, like, you're good at your job. I did think it was funny that she kept catching herself with
talking crap on Carly.
Yeah. But she did good. She was catching herself, and she was like, because when the elevator was frozen, and she's like, you'd think that they would have this figured out by now. And then she looks at him and she's like, never mind.
Right. Exactly.
Or if I still was in charge. Yeah. But Drew and Willow were in the elevator and it got stuck. And well, first of all, Willow was in the elevator by herself and Drew just sticks his hand in and is like, got room for one more?
Yeah.
And then it's so hot in the elevator. He needs to take off his jacket.
Right. They were in that elevator for 3 seconds. I can understand like 20 minutes later being like, whew, man, it's hot. They were in there for 3 seconds. And he's like, you don't mind if I take off my jacket? And he didn't just take off his jacket. He rolled up his sleeves. He unbuttoned his shirt. He loosened his tie. Like, it looked like some inappropriate stuff may have been going on in there whenever he walked out. And she's like, oh, the thing got stuck. So sorry. I'll just go home. Forget the dresses. I specifically came here to pick up.
Right. Exactly. And he invites her to go to a fundraiser. And she's like, no, I can't leave. And he's like, wait a second. Does this have anything to do with us kissing?
Right.
Yes, Drew. I'm over it. I think this is one of the stupidest things it's
a stupid storyline, but on top of that, they're making them so stupid. Like
Yeah.
he looks at her a certain way and she's like, "Oh, Drew doesn't really like me, even though he's staring deeply into my eyes, telling me I'm one of the most important people in his life." And he's like, "What? Willow doesn't still have feelings for me, even though she like can't stand still in an elevator, refuses to go out of town, and is like all flustered around me. There's nothing going on. Neither
He's
one
a
of them
man.
are
He's
that dumb.
oblivious. And
Neither one of them are that dumb."
men are oblivious because he said, we can just move on from this. And so therefore they have just moved on from it because in a guy's mind, they have.
Right.
It didn't happen. I said that we can just forget that it happened. And so therefore it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
It is very weird.
Well, this is a really long one, but I feel like it was going to be a really long one.
Yeah, there was no way to not go in depth about
So
where.
much. There was just like so many little details that are really important.
Yeah.
I do think that that's it, though. I'm scanning real quick to make sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah, I think we're good.
Reality check.
So this week, I actually had a lot of fun.
Yay.
So Erica is having the surgery on her ACL on the 20th. And so we were both kind of thinking that it was probably not going to be until, like mid to late September based on how things were
Right.
going. And then they were basically like, well, we could do it next week. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We need some time to get things settled up. I need to get things in line with, I don't have to get them in line with work, but I can't just up and do next week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the 20th and we still have a lot on our summer to-do list that we're just not going to be able to do. But she's like, I just want to spend a day like around the city, doing something. And so we went down to the Strip and had lunch and walked around and been doing so well with my weight loss journey that it was a really good idea to go to Grandpa Joe's candy store and buy a huge thing of nonpareils. And what else did we get? Oh, we got the container of only banana runts. The only runt that has its own package is bananas. What does that tell you?
It tells me that as much as I love your aunt, I'm sorry, but we can't be friends anymore. That's what it tells me.
But it was fun. And then we went to Trader Joe's and then I took her so we had a little bit of time before we picked up my daughter. So she finished her camp on Friday and I was actually able to do it because a closing I was supposed to have on Friday wound up closing on Monday instead. So that was nice.
Oh, nice.
So I wound up having basically Friday off because I hadn't scheduled anything because closings, you never know when they're going to be until like the week before.
Right.
So sometimes a couple days before. And so I went to University of Pittsburgh and the home plate for Forbes Field is in one of the halls. It's not exactly where it was because supposedly it would actually be in the bathroom. I don't understand why that is because why couldn't they just build the building around that when it's only like a 10 feet difference? I don't know. But it was a thing where you would walk over home plate, before a test or something like that for good luck. And one of the outfield walls is still up down there. And so big baseball fans, we went down and did that and took a look around there. And then we went to see the church in the movie Dogma, and it's actually being condemned.
Aww.
It's a historic landmark that's actually being condemned. It's in very big disrepair. And then we went to Trader Joe's and we hadn't planned a trip to Trader Joe's and we only had about 15 minutes. So we decided to stock up on like ice cream sandwiches and their dark chocolate peanut butter cups and all the junk food.
Nice.
So yeah, we're preparing for her surgery very well. And then we took our rain check day at Idlewild yesterday and we finished the day and myself, JD and the kids kind of recreated a lot of pictures from our first trip in 2009.
That was very cute. I saw those on Facebook. You guys were adorable.
It was fun. And I think that's really it. The rest of it was just I've had some really, really, really long work days lately. So it was just really nice to be able to spend, it felt like I almost had a couple days off and it was really nice.
Nice.
How about you?
So I was probably the dorkiest that I've been in a while this week. Back in the day, whenever I lived at home with my mom and Matt and my sister lived at home with her and my niece, we had a PlayStation and my mom would just buy random games that were cheap for the kids to play because they were like 3 and 6 at that age or 4 and 7. They were little, but they could still, I don't know, boys seem to play video games from like the second they come out of the womb. So they were playing a video games and whatever. So we had this one game. My sister has never played video games. Like we had the Atari, we had the Sega, we had whatever. She did not care about video games ever. But this one video game that we had for the PlayStation, we were addicted to the point that like my sister would stay up on work nights till 2 a.m. trying to play this game and beat it. And so we've talked about it for years, like as a joke between me and her and the kids. But if you try to buy it on eBay, it's like $200. And so we refused to spend $200 on a video game. Well, this week they released it to all the online stores for $19.99. And so I downloaded it, my sister downloaded it, and my niece downloaded it. And we have spent the week being up until like, well, Val wasn't, but me and my niece being up until like 4 a.m, like FaceTiming each other. Like, I'm here. What do you do to get this? The game is called Toomba, Tomba, and it's just this little guy that like has all these quests to figure out, but you like have to think about it. Like there's the one part where there's a guard guarding the door and he's like, no, I'm not letting you past here. You crying isn't going to do anything. And so you have to go to another board and get this mushroom that makes you cry, and then go back to the guy and eat the mushroom and cry in front of him. And then he's like, whoa, don't cry. It's okay. Here. Yeah, you can go through the tunnel. Like, I'm sorry. Just stop crying. And so there's a lot of, even though you completed a board, you have to go back, or you get like a key that opens up a different color chest, and those were sprinkled all through the first levels also. So you have to go back and get those and whatever. And so it's just been, Madeline's now into it also. And so Ryan was making fun of us because he was downstairs playing his video game with his headset on. And I guess that Madeline and I were being so loud whenever we successfully completed something that his friends over the headset were like, is everything okay at your house? Like, we just keep hearing people screaming. And are you okay? And so I'm exhausted because I stayed up like 3 nights in a row till 4 a.m. And and then yesterday we went to Cash Bash and then out for drinks afterwards with Matt and his girlfriend. And so we won a bunch of stuff at the Cash Bash though, so that was fun.
Awesome.
And they did one thing a little bit different. I liked the idea of it, but I didn't like the way that they executed it. But they had a bunch of desserts that people made, or like from local bakeries that everybody loves. And it was an auction for the dessert. But instead of you taking it like at the end to take home or whatever, they were like, here, get dessert for your table to share. And it was like, no, I bought a cake. I don't know. Right. Thank you. Like, I bought a cake, but you know how these things are. Like, you have your group, but you sit down with a group of people that you don't really know. I didn't buy cake for these strangers. Like, I'm a nice person, but not that nice. So they had some fancy cookies that said like cheerleaders and had like the megaphones on them and whatever. And so we bid on those and ended up getting, it was a dozen cookies for like $12. And we brought those home to Madeline and we're like, here you go, blah, blah, blah. And she was all excited. And then we got a dozen of the mini bundt cakes from Nothing But Bundt Cakes, whatever it's called. And we got the whole dozen for like $16. So the money went to a good thing, but we still saved money getting yummy desserts. And so I had taken those over to Matt's because his girlfriend loves those. And so we shared some of the bundt cakes. And then Ryan won this huge basket of stuff to make Bloody Marys. I don't really like Bloody Marys, but it had the alcohol and the mixers and the pickles and the skewer thingies and like all of it. It was this huge basket. And then I won 3-month membership to the Y, which Madeline is very excited about because that means then she can swim. We've never joined the Y, so she's all geeked out about that. And then another little basket of like wax melts and stuff. And then I won one of the like they call it my number for one of the times. So I won some money back too. So I was like, this is a very successful cash bash.
Sounds like that's awesome.
Yes. And then I came home and finished my GH. So I again was not in bed until 4 a.m. And so that's why I'm like falling asleep as we're recording.
Well, you have to stay up so that we can finish the next part of Bobby that is going to be this week's 411, part 8.
This week's 411 will not be released because Amanda was falling asleep during recording. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Nope. We'll keep it short. Ish.
No,
we
won't. But it's okay. It's exciting enough this week because we're like really getting into it. So
yeah,
I won't be able to fall asleep anyway. But yeah, I'm not as young as I used to be because these, like, I usually stay up to like 1 or 2, but 4 is just pushing it. So.
See, and we got home from the amusement park probably around 7:30 because we had stopped to get ice cream on the way home, and I was exhausted. But I also get up at 6:30. I get up when you're going to bed, so
yes, you get up way too early. But
time for work and school and stuff. My daughter gets herself up at.
Even when I had to be at work early and had the kids at school, I still like pushed it to the very last second. Like the bus comes at 8 o'clock. Okay, we're getting up at 7:15. Here's your clothes. Get out.
Oh no.
Yes. Sleep is my best friend. But
that's why I do it early.
But yeah, it was a fun week. It was very cute seeing Madeline so excited about this game. We still have not beat it, but
I was hoping that was going to be the end.
No, actually, my niece Julie beat it. She said it took her a total of 14 hours and 36 minutes or something like that, but she did indeed beat it, which I don't think we ever did beat it back in the day because it was just like so intense. But anyone who loved the game Toomba, I guess it was released in 97. We played it in 2000.
I just looked at it. Yeah.
Which would make sense because, like I said, back then my mom bought it as like, oh, this was $10 at the game exchange or whatever. But yeah. I guess a lot of people liked it. So if you didn't know and you loved it, go to your online store. It's on PlayStation, Steam, and the Switch. You can download it for $19.99.
Awesome. I Googled it, but I'm not familiar with it. And
it's crazy. Like I said, it must have been one of those games that everyone who liked it just like found it on accident because there are not a million copies. You know, with most games, there's still plenty of copies out there. If you go to the used stores, there's not many copies of it. And the ones that are out there are outrageously priced. So
nice.
Yes. Very excited. And there's a second one. The second one is set to be released next year. So.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I'll have to ask my son if he knows about it. He plays a lot of what he likes to call vintage.
Oh, does that break your heart?
Because he's not technically wrong is the worst part. Yep. All right. So on that note, join us on Thursday as we talk about Bobby Part 8.
Vintage Bobby.
Vintage Bobby, right. Oh, hey, it's 1997. Look at that.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.